the Indian journey, and in a sense, the articulation into access, engagement, and empowerment was to help categorize DPIs into different buckets. Just to be completely clear, this is sort of the sequence that India followed, but it's not a necessary sequence. If you think about other countries, you don't have to go in this step-by-step sequence. But generally speaking, when you start out on the digitalization journey, you need some kind of an infrastructure to allow people to gain access to this digital ecosystem. Those are typically identity and credentials technologies. And in India, of course, the identity technology is Aadhaar, our foundational identity system. But there are many other identity systems. There's derived identity systems that we get from, you say, a health ID or various other things. And then once you've got access into the ecosystem, there's a whole set of transactional DPIs, infrastructure that allow you to interact with other people who are so identified. And the best example of this is really payments, because two people who can be uniquely identified, uniquely enough for us to be certain that when we're sending money, it goes to the person it's intended to and not to someone else. At that point in time, it becomes possible for us to engage in just a simple transactional arrangement of sending someone some money, or something more complex, which is engaging in some sort of a purchase or more structured payment. So that's the second layer, and there are many other examples of this. There's sort of commercial arrangements, there's various services that are provided, there's tax that you pay, things like that. And after you've done this for a while, what happens is you've laid down these digital trails. You've built a history of engagement, and that history of engagement actually contains within it some signals as to various things. Just take payments, for example. The signals that are hidden in your engagement are your ability to pay. The kinds of transactions, the volume of transactions that you do, the nature of the transactions that you do. And if this information can be provided to someone who is evaluating you for, let's say, a loan or eligibility for some service, this information can actually be used by them to arrive at some sort of a conclusion about you, and therefore, provide you that service or not. And I think for those of us who have other sorts of collateral, if we're privileged enough to have a house or something like that we can put down as collateral, this is not a big deal. But for a lot of people in the country, they don't have this privilege. And so the ability to be able to leverage their digital trails, the transactional activities that were part of the engagement layer into this information collateral that could then give them some other additional benefit that otherwise they would not have been entitled to. That is what I call empowerment. And that later phase, where the first two phases are now allowing you, only by themselves to get additional power and additional value. That is what I call the empowerment phase.